The city of Bosra was first mentioned in the 14th century BC. Its name also comes up several times in the Old Testament. This was the first Nabatean city in the 2nd century BC. The Romans conquered it in 106 BC and made it capital of the Roman province Arabia Petraea. The city stood at the juncture of several trade routes. Here ran the ancient routes connecting the Nile Delta with northern Syria and Mesopotamia, and the shores of the Mediterranean Sea with the Persian Gulf. In 634 AD, the Rashidun Caliphate captured the city from the Romans, and Bosra became the first Syrian settlement to convert to the Islamic faith. The Kingdom of Jerusalem tried to conquer Bosra twice in the 12th century. Then, in the next century, the Mongols damaged the castle, that was later rebuilt by the Mamluk Sultan. By medieval times, the city had lost its relevance. It had dwindled to a small village. Archaeological excavations began in Bosra in 1947, and the city was made part of the UNESCO World Heritage List in 1980. Today, Bosra is an important site due to its Roman, Byzantine, and Muslim ruins. Hellenistic and Roman times are recalled by the Nymphaeum, the nymph temple above the spring. These were often built above a natural cave spring or grotto for the local nymph to live in. 3 early Islam mosques also remain in traces: the Al-Mabrak, Al-Arus or Al-Omar, and the Mabrak Al-Nagar Mosque. Al-Mabrak, or the Kneeling Mosque, is said to have been built at the site where Muhammad's camel knelt down. The Al-Omari Mosque is one of the oldest surviving, and the Mabrak al-Nagar Mosque holds the oldest original copy of the Quran. The main tourist site of the city is the Islamic citadel and theatre raised by the Ayyubid sultans. This is not only the best preserved Roman theatre in the world, but also the biggest. The Hellenistic Roman theatre was probably built in the 2nd century AD by Trajan. The citadel was raised around it in the 11th, 12th century as protection against the Crusaders. This is how the theatre managed to remain so exceptionally intact for posterity. 1,000 years separated the building of the theatre and the citadel, but the Corinthian columns no longer clash with the more austere and later Islamic masonry. Today we can enter the theatre through the fortified entrance and corridors. At the gate is a meticulously crafted geometrical mosaic. Inside the auditorium, the Roman era is almost close enough to touch. The theatre's semicircular auditorium had room for around 15,000 spectators in 35 rows of seats. A huge 300-foot-long half-underground hall can still be seen today that was probably the warehouse of the city. To provide ventilation and natural light, 34 identical openings were cut into the walls of this huge hall.